often an excellent time to take stock, see where you've been, and decide where you're going. I'm no different. So as 2023 approached, I logged into YouTube Studio and looked at what I'd been up to. I'll violate a rule here. You can tune out now if you're not interested in a retrospective. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast. More timely episodes will be coming your way. For those sticking around, here's some introspection. 1 year ago, I began this podcast. I knew that I was better at producing thought when writing. Once my thoughts are written, it's easier for me to dispense them in spoken words instead of creating a video. I'm okay producing other people's video content, but I'm somewhat of a disaster at producing video content featuring me. For whatever reason, I become tongue-tied. I can't think and talk extemporaneously, even though it's something almost all of us do daily. Anyway, the plan was to produce an audio podcast where I thought I would be more comfortable. So I began with an idea that was originally for video that I turned into the first episode of this podcast, centered around my surviving on this planet for 25,000 days. I recorded the episode, posted it, and never looked back. I got all discombobulated setting up the distribution of the podcast, and once I get frustrated, I quickly give up and move on. Likewise, it was late when I started the YouTube channel in 2021. Many folks started streaming in 2020 at the height of the pandemic. I spent 2020 producing a friend's video series and got a lot of positive feedback. People told the host that the series looked like a professionally produced show. Boy, did that stroke my ego. Meanwhile, I didn't know what to focus my channel on, so I did what I typically do. I hung out and participated in other people's channels. Even though I wanted to stream, I didn't have the gumption or the finances to do it. I procrastinated. I spent time researching my brand. I wanted it to be uniform across all social media platforms. I settled on MikeylitoLIVE, which was available just about everywhere. On August 24th, 2021, I finally decided to start streaming, and I produced my first live stream. I did a 30-second blurb in the afternoon to promote the show named MikeylitoLIVE after midnight. I chose that day part because I had been making occasional post-midnight appearances on another channel and because it was a quiet time in my residence. There's not a lot of activity here after midnight. Also, not a lot of questions from my big brother about who I'm talking to on the computer. I stole an episode title from Aaron Sorkin, as it had been a really crazy day. Still, in the middle of the pandemic, I had to go to the medical lab to have blood drawn from one of my cadre of doctors. I walked into the lab, which had taken all the standard precautions, yet there were still people inside not wearing masks, coughing and touching everything in sight. After I finished there, I caught a bus to travel to my local movie theater. Again, despite signs on both doors of the bus, one guy still refused to put on the mask despite the driver asking him to wear one, and of course, no one challenged him. I'm a Regal Cinemas Unlimited member. For approximately $24 a month, Regal Unlimited will allow you to pre-book 3 showings of any movie playing at any Regal theater across the United States. Of course, there are a few restrictions. The movie show times can't overlap, and it has to be you sitting in the theater. Those are reasonable restrictions. One of the perks of being an unlimited member is getting a free bucket of popcorn and a large fountain drink for your birthday. These perks expire after 90 days. Now you can also purchase concession discounts with your club points, and they also have various expiration dates. So my plan was to see Free Guy, a film Ryan Reynolds did with Disney's new acquisition, 20th Century Pictures. I wasn't particularly in the mood for a big concession fest, so I wandered to the concession stand to get a small free popcorn I had purchased with club points. That perk expired in 2 days. Yet the cashier rang up, or so I thought, the free popcorn bucket perk, which expired in 88 days. When I mentioned that to the cashier, he said he didn't have an option. The perk taken was programmed into Regal's system. I asked for a manager. When the manager came over, he stated he could do nothing. So I canceled the entire order and just went to watch the movie. Now, one of the things I've learned when producing other people's streams is that preparation is critical. You should always prepare what you want to talk about. When you have guests, you should always prepare them for how the show works, what you want to talk about, and what you don't want to talk about. All this is just to get an idea of how the broadcast will go, minimize surprises, and generally have a good time. Unfortunately, after the many annoyances of the day, I didn't do that. I didn't prepare anything. Worse, I went live on the channel and promoted the midnight broadcast. The result is available for all to see on my YouTube channel. My point, however, that my reaction sent me into a deep depression. I walked away from streaming for quite a while after that. It was 3 months before I attempted to do another video. That was a trailer reaction for Spider-Man No Way Home that one of our PGS friends encouraged me to do. However, I'm not very expressive, so I'm uncertain that trailer reactions are something I should do, at least by myself anyway. I wasn't happy with that video either. I did a happy holidays message in the pilot episode of this podcast, and that was it. I was sure I would never do another video ever again. All told, I produced 4 videos in 2021. A couple of months later, The Batman appeared in theaters. Disney and Marvel pulled the plug on Netflix's licenses and moved the remaining Marvel content from the Netflix platform to Disney+. I also had some thoughts about various Star Trek content appearing on Paramount+, and I decided to do another stream. That was for March 2022, and the result can be found on Live After Midnight, Episode 2. I had an actual viewer in chat, and as a result of that stream, I picked up a subscriber. I soon realized that streaming is somewhat like a living organism. A stream has a mood, a life of its own. When you have nothing left to talk about, you end it. It doesn't have to have a predetermined length. And since live streams have a life after, you just have to prepare material and present it even if nobody is watching or listening, as is the case with this podcast. After that stream, I was motivated, and I've done all kinds of content since then. While I wasn't looking, I produced 42 videos and 1 short in 2022. So now it's 2023. It's a new year. I've made some equipment upgrades and I have plans for the future. However, plans aren't resolutions. I resolutely resolved to not make New Year's resolutions. I have some content ideas for the future. I've killed a couple of shows and will be instituting new ones. I plan to stream more often, but we'll see how it goes. It's really about quality, not quantity. There are certain things I want to do, but I'm my own worst critic. Succeed or fail, I have to do things on my own terms. I've always felt life was a journey. I hope you'll join me on mine. Thanks for sticking with me through this episode. As I did for those who left early, I ask that you like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Likewise, check out my video content on YouTube, where I also hope you'll become a subscriber. I resolve to always tell you how I honestly feel, even if you disagree or if it makes you uncomfortable. That's not a New Year's resolution, that's a life resolution. One I'm too old to break. As always, watch content, form opinion. And until next time, ciao for now.